Alrighty, good morning everybody. It's Tuesday, June 27th. Let's go ahead and jump right into it here. We're going to do what we do every morning, and that is review what happened yesterday, and then we'll get into this morning's pre-market. So let's jump back here and talk about, first of all, some of the ideas we started with before the market opened and see what happened here. So we talked about seeing, again, potential bullish signals from the lows of the day before and the overnight lows. We're still seeing potential bullish divergence on the daily. In fact, maybe what I should just do is pull this over here and just look at it. We saw this nice bullish divergence on the hourly off the overnight low. We saw a 4-hour bullish signal down off the overnight low. On the daily, we were talking about seeing this nice bullish divergence that could potentially be there. Remember, it's not official signal. It's just starting to show up and could become an official signal. And so we were watching that, and we said that if the market could hold above the overnight low, which is that red line you see coming across the screen, we were expecting an attempt by the bulls, remember, just an attempt, to go ahead and bounce out. And we talked about there being trouble levels. Or trouble zones, right? We talked about maybe the close of the day before being trouble. Actually, that was right around the open. We were testing it. And then we talked about how in order to have any faith in that bullish rotation or reversal, we wanted to see the bulls get up at least through 50% of the previous day and then get up through the scaffolding and the high of the day before we had any real kind of faith in that potential rotation. And what happened here yesterday? Well, you can see from the zoomed out perspective, we got a pop and then we failed 3 ticks in front of 50% of the previous day, right? So it's been like the last 2 or 3 mornings, last Friday, Monday of this week, yesterday, and I think Thursday of last week, the same thing. We got a nice bullish signal from the lows. We expected there to be a pop. However, being we're in such a heavy market, we needed to see the bulls break some key levels in order to really have faith in that rotation. And then every day we got the pop, and then we got a failure nearly right around a key level, the 50% of the previous day on Monday, or on Friday of last week, the 50% of the previous day yesterday. So kind of interesting that we keep getting the same pattern. That brings us into, and actually what I'm going to do is look at the details here for yesterday. So what happened? The market, first of all, we're starting to get some new support and resistance levels up on the chart. And what happened? The market opened and it pulled back right to one of the new levels we added to the chart yesterday that we set out here at 43.84, and the market came to 43.8375, 1 tick into the level, and then got this awesome bullish rally up to test, again, the 50% of the previous day. On the way up, beautiful opportunity there to parry right off the FMA to the tick, and then again target up close to 50% of the previous day. So 2 beautiful opportunities off our levels to the damn tick. And then again we came up and failed 3 ticks in front of 50% of the previous day there. And then that was basically it. The rally was over. It was very short-lived. We got about a half hour of that bullish push, and then it started to topple over. And you can see these are those textbook pushes and then holds off the back end of the FMA, or of the 200, and we saw it happen again here. And then there were 3 or 4 tests, and then we fell right back below VWAP. And then the rest of the day, and you can even see beautiful holds. You could have been trying the 200. You could have tried the back end of the FMA and the VWAP as we failed through VWAP to start playing the bearish side of things. And then if you missed that, the kiss right to the back end of our close of the day before, and then a nice bullish rotation right off of the low of the day before, right? So then it popped from there. We did get a pullback off FMA and scaffolding, and then pop back out. And then look what happened here off VWAP. We got a peek through it, pretty shy little 2-3 point peak, and then bam, nearly to the tick, 3, 4, 5 tests, and then we fell down below the hopeful again, and then used the hopeful as our upper resistance here. And why isn't this printing? upper resistance to fail off of it 3, 4, 5 times and continue to pull back here. So there were plenty of parries off of the Hopel. We came back up to fail again, nearly exactly off VWAP and the close of the day before. And then again, nice, beautiful parries off the back end of the low the day before. Multiple times here on this failures, and that was basically right into the lunch hour. And then it was sideways for a little bit. Still held these levels almost, perfectly here for these rotations. Can't really get much better than that. And then this is the low of the overnight session that we said, if the bulls could not get through that, or if the bears could push through the low of the day before and hold below it, we were targeting down into the first resistance or support zone down here, and we had a couple other levels as well. Well, what ended up happening here at the end of the day? They were holding, and then finally, here's another beautiful hold right off the back end of VWAP. Still could not get through it at the end of the day there. And then when we came down, I think this was probably the sexiest thing to happen outside of that pullback right a couple minutes after the open to get long there or get long off the FMA for our expectation of an attempt to break out to the upside there. Outside of that one, those two setups, this was probably the sexiest thing to happen. And let me bring this back in. The market got through the low of the day before, that dotted red line there. Came right to it, to the tick for a double top basically. So 2 opportunities to try to short the back end of it. Took no risk. And then what happened? We came right to a level or an area in the chart, a zone of 2 points, 67 to 69.25 here, that we've been talking about for over a week, probably 2 weeks now. The market came right to, and that was the low of the day. It broke the top end of that zone by 3 ticks, and what do you know? We got a 7-point bounce right off of it. And then, so if you were there at the end of the day, you were looking for a trade, you could have taken that pocket there that we talked about long there, and if you missed that, you could have took the FMA the whole way up for the whole last half hour of the day. It rode the FMA nearly to the tick. So unbelievable opportunities even in sideways markets with these levels. And so that brings us into this morning, and as you can see, interestingly enough, the market bounced up off the low of the day before, and in the overnight session got rejection. Where did they get rejection? 50% of the previous day again. So we've seen this happen. Bullish rally, fail at 50% of the previous day. Not only in our overnight session coming into this morning, but yesterday, the day before that, and then I think even on Thursday of last week, the same thing. A pop, a fail right around 50% or right around our Hopel, and then, continuation lower. So interesting stuff. And then let me just, let me see if I have enough room on this screen to do this. I want to just show you from a fib perspective. This is kind of like a teaching lesson here. And I know I'm going a little bit longer this morning into our review, and that's only because our pre-market this morning is going to be pretty short. Everything's nearly the same as yesterday. All the levels are the same. And so it's going to be a pretty quick pre-market. So I'm going to spend a little more time showing you, why we want to focus in on the levels we focus in on. And then teach you a little bit about how this all works. So look at the Fibonacci's here this morning, or from yesterday. The high of the morning, we fail, we come down, and the 50% of the morning leg happens to be VWAP. We come and kiss right into it and then hold it to the tick here for the first failure. So beautiful little clinic in Fibonacci yesterday. If you were tracking the daily fib, came down a little bit further to this new low here at around 8:20 Pacific, pop up, and we fail again at 38% retracement of the daily leg down, which is also the close of the day before. Nice confluence with all these levels. And then we come down a little bit lower, right over here, and there's no hold at 38, right? It fails in front of it, right off our scaffolding, but comes right into this low here, and that was basically the low of the day until we broke it at the end of the day there. And what happens here? We hold again about a point in front of the 38, and then finally at the end of the day here, they come up and they basically kiss right into the 38 retrace of the whole day, the VWAP and the Holy Orange power level, and just can't get any strength to break out from there. And then we fail to the end of the day. And then as you can see, if you continue to follow the fib across, now we have the full daily fib, and then in the overnight session we just failed off 50%. So beautiful little clinic and Fibonacci retracements here for the last day and a half. So that brings us into this morning's pre-market.